I posted in a Facebook group that I use my pendulum in conjunction with my tarot, and a couple of people asked me how do I do that. So I thought I would make this little video. This is the spread that I had this morning, which was pretty cool. This is from the Cat Tarot. This is equivalent to the Six of Swords, and then there were three major arcana: Moon, Temperance, and the Wheel. So I was real pleased with that. But anyhow, I did that, and when I'm ready for the pendulum work, I just reach for a pendulum, whichever one calls out to me. This morning I remember I used this. This is a Dalmatian Jasper, one of my favorites. It responds very well. After I do my morning reading, what I do every morning is I shift energy to my family and my friends. The way I do this, and you can see the pendulum has already started to move. This Jasper is so responsive. Anyhow, I set my intention first, which is always to the greatest good of all concerned, all involved. And then I also set the intention for true and unbiased answers. That's if I'm asking any questions. And then I also invoke divine love and divine protection. And then what will happen is the pendulum will go about 45 degrees to the right, like it's doing right now, when it tells me it is ready. And my first command is to increase the level of consciousness of my family, all generations, past and present and future, and my friends, known and unknown. And I do that because I know there's friends that I'm going to have that I don't know yet, and I know there's friends that I have had that I have forgotten. So anyhow, and then I also include myself. So the command is to increase, to raise the level of consciousness to optimal levels for each individual involved. And the pendulum will swing to the right. Normally it picks up a pretty good swing. It might be getting tired. This is about the third time I've tried this video. I'm new at that. But anyhow, level of consciousness to me is such a broad spectrum, a huge umbrella. And what happens in the mornings is I usually pick up on a word or sometimes I just feel it. It does that. It picks up its speed. You probably see my hand moving. I am not moving it to move the pendulum. The pendulum is moving the hand. It's got a pretty good swing going. Anyhow, the word that I picked up on this morning, and it's still ringing true, is optimism. And for me, I kind of figure that like that's the word. And when I think of optimism, I want to transmute worry to confidence, worry to trust, faith. I want to transmute despair to hope, and of course optimism. And usually a number of words just show up in my head. The other thing that I do while I'm spinning is I transmute negative to positive. negative energy to positive energy, negative old patterns of thinking or behavior into beneficial, positive patterns. I also invoke divine protection, and in my mind I can envision like a shroud or a shield of white light that surrounds each one of us, and it repels negative, and that's what I command it to do. It repel negative entities, energies, thoughts, whether those energies be negative on the roads we travel or the buildings, whether it be school, work, the mall, our offices. Repel those negative energies or entities and energy vampires, and repel, resist negative people as well. And you know, the first time I did this video, I really thought that this swing only took 3 or 4 minutes. And then when I flubbed up on the first 2 tries, and I looked at the time, I said, oh my gosh, I never realized. But the whole swing really takes about somewhere between 10 and 14 minutes, depending on, well, the pendulum. I also invoke divine love. If we can raise the levels of divine love in all of us, then we really won't have anything else to worry about. But, you know, it's not the pendulum that is special. The pendulum is a tool that doesn't really heal, or it can't transmit energy. What it does is sort of like your kitchen timer. When you're baking a cake, you want only 45 minutes, so you set the timer and then you know it's done. Well, the pendulum is kind of like that. The pendulum will stop swinging on its own when the energy shift is complete. It's different for everybody, but there are similarities. For me, it goes around clockwise for positive and uploads. And when I need to release resistance or something like that, I don't want to start talking about it because it'll do it. It goes counterclockwise. Sometimes people don't really realize they've had an energy shift. It doesn't quite hit like a bolt of lightning, you know. But I did have a friend that she requested an energy shift, and I said, okay, I would do one the next day, and I didn't tell her when I did it. Well, I talked to her at the end of the following day, and she told me that when she got up that morning, that she just had an abundance of energy and went through cleaning out closets and cleaning her house, dusting, and all sorts of things. That I'm pretty sure was the energy shift, because I did the energy shift for that morning early. I get up early. One other thing that I do when I have this pendulum going and I'm feeling it is I do what I call shoutouts. For instance, I do a shout out for Olivia. She is still going through chemotherapy for her cancer, and she's a brave young woman. She's only 25. So I do a shout out to increase healing in her body and to harmonize the parts and organs and systems and cells of her body, to take only what they need from that chemo and discard the rest. I also do a shout out for Gary. He's done with his treatments, but he's got a long road for healing. And then I ask for a little help from Archangel Raphael on that. Let's see what else. Usually I just sit here and let it spin. When it's done, okay, looks like we're getting there. It will go forward and back like a yes/no movement. And then that pretty much tells me that the energy shift is done. And sometimes it just keeps swinging, so I will kind of remind it to please go to neutral when everything is complete. Please go to neutral when it's complete. Every now and then it'll pick up and start going in reverse. I just let it do its thing. Oh no, you don't. Not this time, not this time. When it does that, I let it go in reverse all it wants to. I did some training under Raymond Grace, who is a guru. He's world renowned with pendulum healing and dowsing in general. And I asked him why the pendulum would just take off on its own. And he told me just let it be, because going counterclockwise is a release of negative or neutralizing. So anyhow, if you have any questions, just let me know or leave them below. Just so you know that everybody has their own style of pendulum swinging, healing. Whatever resonates and works for you is what will be right. Okay? Thank you so much.